After experiencing hundreds of anime series, hundreds of manga, manhwa, and manhwa, I played Neverness to Everness expecting an interactive anime. What I actually found was the birth child of a mediocre mobile game and your average anime. My first claim is that the presentation, the cutscene, and the anime aesthetics are maybe the biggest strengths the game has, and they're really enjoyable to see. First of all, cutscenes look great. It really doesn't differ from any other like greatly animated anime. Looks pretty fucking good. There's a lot of like action. Like the game doesn't just let you watch a lot of like still images and says, hey, that's like an anime. Some animes actually do that, where they just show you like a still image and voice over it, and they call it like an episode. That's pretty much it. So I really love this one. Very overly exaggerated cutscenes, look freaking great. The cutscenes themselves also have a tendency to be good. Like when I started off the game, right at the start, I think in the first 30 minutes, there was this blue cat girl. I don't know what the name is. She calls you Coco all the time. I don't remember what the name is, but she was kind of funny at the start. A lot of the things were kind of funny, like jokes that you see everywhere, but they're still funny. A very important note is that the Japanese voice pack is, I think, the necessary one. Yeah, you have to use that one. Everything else feels off. It doesn't feel good. Like watching it dubbed is very cringe. I can't watch like anime dubbed. It makes me cringe physically, and it hurts, and I just can't enjoy the series. So luckily I also know a little bit of Japanese, so I can not watch the subtitles all the time, and it just fits better. So yeah, use the Japanese voice pack. This way you can actually enjoy and look at the, what do you call it, like the art that the developers and the artists put the time and their work towards, because there's a lot of jiggle. There are also a bunch of background conversations that you can find all across the world. You just go about your day, you just see two NPCs talking to themselves, talking between one another. There's like mini stories between every two NPC that are just standing there. Yeah, it's very repeating and it's the same thing over and over again, but it's kind of nice to see, and it does help like build the world into something that's a bit more interesting and fun. Personally, I would have loved if all the voice action, all the voice things, all the, what do you call this, in conversations would be voice acted, but they're not. There's like a small minority of them that are, and I wouldn't even mind if it was like AI voices or just the same voice actors doing the like all the lines. I wouldn't mind like at all. I just love to see that more, because a lot of the times you don't notice the conversations because you're doing something else. So hearing something could be the trigger, because you have to look at them, stand there for a second, and then the text bubble is gonna pop up. So I wish it wasn't like that. Right from the start, the game felt very Yakuza to me. The way the stores works and all the NPCs are all over the place. Just the way the world itself looks and plays felt a lot like Yakuza to me. It's not like Yakuza as you play more, but it definitely, I can see Yakuza in it, not just because it's Japanese, but the way you move around the world and things like that, and all the what do you call this, like the stores, NPCs, it feels very Yakuza. Going back a bit to the point about the artists and things like that, they invested a ton of money into the jiggle physics, and I mean, it's a gacha game. I find it really weird, but some people love to buy their wife or whatever, so I guess it's something people do, but I kind of found it funny, and then I kind of, next. Now, surprisingly, I don't really play a lot of gacha games, right? But when I do, I usually stick to one character, start to finish, that's it. Now here, I actually used other characters. I used the entire roster, not the entire roster, but I used like a formation. I used a group of 4 of them. I stuck to one character, but I weaved in other characters, which I never really do. So this is really a strength of this game. The gameplay was really a lot of fun. Like comboing everything, how you can do multiple things with the same attack, like holding a button versus just clicking it. It's different, and I love it. There are also some cool, like, small little things that are very interesting. There's like a puzzle where you have to, it's a perception puzzle. You have to fit a picture into the real world, and once you do, you trigger like the door opening, and you can move on to the next place. It's very short. There's a lot of like 5-minute tricks like that the game does. Some of them really are boring, but there's a decent amount of them that are actually fun, like this perception puzzle. Now, there's also a bunch of mini games that actually allow you to earn some money. And the one I really liked myself is the delivery one, because it's really easy, you get a decent amount of money, and it's fun because it doesn't take a lot of time and driving around the game is fun. And then finally, there's also like a very small thing that you can like guide NPCs to different places. If you speak to some random NPCs across the world, doesn't matter who, there's a chance they're gonna give you like a small quest, but you have to read to understand what's going on. And I had like a quest where I had to guide some student back into like their club room or something like that. Just the small stuff like that. I think you gain like a emote or something from it. Doesn't matter. Small quest, kind of funny. Next. My second claim is going to be that the story is very generic. It's heavily padded with a bunch of like anime bullshit fillers, and it is extremely predictable. Like, if you watched anime, read anime before, read mangas before, it's very predictable. Right when I started the game, I felt like I was thrown into the middle of something without any explanation of what's really going on here. And even after I played the game, they don't really explain where you came from or what was it. They kind of said at the start you came like from an anomaly, as an anomaly, kind of like a gate. If you read a lot of Korean manhwas, then there's like the whole gate and monsters and shit like that. It kind of feels like you came out of a gate, but there's no like further explanation on it. You're just like a random face with a random power, so you fit into the narrative without having to, you know, think too much about what you should be. Story is pretty like your average normal anime crap. Nothing here is like it's gonna touch your heartstrings or it's gonna make you sad, it's gonna make you happy. It's just anime slop. It's just normal anime. You just click on a random site that pirates animes or something, click on some random thing off a list that looks like bright colors, speak to like 12-year-olds, and this is what you get. This game. And it's fine. I mean, there is a crowd for it, I'm sure, but I think as you play more or watch more animes and read more things, this thing kind of feels like eating junk food to you, and at some point you want like better food. So I think I'm at an age and I experienced so many of those animes that I'm desensitized to all of those like tropes that you see all over the place. Like there was a date quest about like you have to be yourself, and there's a whole bunch of things. Like there was a mission with the cake monster that you have to bake a cake for. There's a bunch of shit that if you watched anime, read anime, you have watched this thing hundreds, if not thousands of times. So I just can't take it anymore. Like I'm puking from this. There's just so much like of the same thing. So the story is really, really not for me, but I can definitely see how somebody who doesn't have much experience with anime is gonna just slurp it all up, like love this so much, because there is a lot of things here. There's a lot of things here that if you don't watch it, if it is your first time, or maybe like around you, like you're starting into the anime world, then I can definitely see how this is gonna be like very like fun experience for you. How you're gonna enjoy this so much, because there is a lot here. Probably around midway through the story, I kind of stopped like following the plot. I just watched. If you want to know anime, you know this. Every time there was finished like a saga or a episode, I guess, in the game, there's gonna be an abbreviation of what happened at the end. The characters are gonna go and then they speak. There's like a circle when like every person speaking their turn. There are no turns, but this is how anime works. Turns. So everybody's basically gonna tell you what happened throughout the last 2-3 hours in like a 5-minute conversation, like dropping these small details that nobody really cares about. So even if you like just watch that, then you kind of understand what happened, even though I skipped all the like most of the content. I was kind of like battling between myself. Should I skip this? Should I not skip this? Because there are cool like moments and funny moments in the story, but they were so like buried in the pile of things you have to just sift through to find it, that eventually I just kind of gave up, and I just said, even if it is like the fun parts are not that good, then I'm willing to sift through all the trash in order to find that good moment. So I just kind of gave up on it. Now there's a lot of like, small moments where nobody like thought about this, right? This is not an anime, this is a game. So in an anime, I can just tap the screen and I skip forward 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, depending on when you're watching it, right? So in here, you cannot do that. You can skip the entire conversation, or you can skip nothing, right? You can maybe skip like the sentence you're currently watching, but it's gonna take a lot of time. So what tends to happen is that I either, like I said, skip everything or skip nothing. And then in between the cutscene, there's gonna be like, how do you say this? Usually you would see like a transition, I guess you would call it, into another conversation happening as a cutscene. It doesn't happen in this game. What happens, you go back to gameplay, you have to wait for an NPC to walk 10-15 meters, and then another cutscene triggers. And it's not like something happens or a conversation happens during this walk. It's just quiet, no music, totally like death in your ears, nothing is happening for 10-15 seconds, and then you restart another cutscene. And then why do you do that? I guess to give you an option to quit and stop doing the mission at any point, but just make it like a chunk of cutscene, a chunk of story, and let's move on to the gameplay, because like I said previously, the gameplay is fun. One funny thing I want to say about the story is, if I want to give you like an example of a BS moment that is clearly like lazy writing, is I think it's the final fight, the main character is gonna actually be held back by some random straps that the evil lady uses, right? And he's being held back, and then the evil lady does something to, I'm not gonna explain everything to you, but she does something to like a little girl, and it's basically like the catalyst to the final boss fight, right? And the second the boss fight starts, then you are able to physically like turn yourself off of the restraints, and then you can start like the big fight. Now, this is obviously like something that is super lazy to do, because why can't you break now, right? Why couldn't you break like 15 seconds ago and prevent like this big fight from happening? You can. The writer just doesn't want you to do that, because then they have to come up with a good reason as to why this fight is actually happening. Or they can just restrain you and, you know, disbelief, and then you can start the fight, and hey, you had the big fight, and we had the whole like checklist that, okay, everything is basically done, we have what we need. And I just gotta say, if this was an actual anime, I would stop like on episode 1, episode 2 max. I don't think I would ever see this like these series to the end, like no chance. I know I talked a lot about the story, but I'm very passionate about lore and about story, if you didn't get that yet. Claim number 3 is going to be that the UI and the systems are very bloated and it's very confusing. It feels very much like a mobile game, and there is a reason for that. So like I said, there's a ton of systems in the game. You have like your phone, which has like a bajillion apps on it that you can go into, and each one of them is like its own screen with upgrade systems and rewards and achievements and communication between NPCs and other quests to do, and your quest journal, which has like 6 pages of different kind of quests you can have. It's insane to watch all of that and have so many systems and things like that. It's just a freaking pain in the ass to have so many of those screens. There is a reason for that. Like I said, money, money, money. Just, we're not going to dive too deep into the money, money part, but it's confusing. You buy things, and that's pretty much it. If you play the mobile games, you also know there's like the red dot of doom, where there's a red dot on a button somewhere. You have to click on it, and then there's like a thing you have to do, like, hey, you didn't waste these type of coins yet, hey, you have a reward that's waiting for you to get it, right? Like, go into this screen, and then here, and then here, and here, and then you can claim 2 coins. Nice. Now, hey, you see this thing, how about you buy some stuff? I don't like the gacha aspect. Now, luckily, you can get free pulls just from playing the game, and I didn't really find that I needed too much of it. Like, I didn't need to pay anything to progress the game, and I did pretty much everything there is. Maybe I skipped like a bunch of online stuff, but I've done everything on the map physically, like all the bosses and all things like that, and it was pretty freaking easy. Like, some bosses were a little bit annoying, but everything was fine. Like, but it is, again, it's a mobile game, it's a gacha game. One of the many like systems that you have in the game are actually like it's like a RP system. You can RP with like one of your waifus in like a house that you buy, and you have to do like emotes with them and give them gifts and go on dates with them, which basically like a minute of cutscene where you go sit at the like a theater or something, and you unlock more emotes as you level up in the relationship and things like that, and you get like a very indecent skins to use while they're at your house basically, and it felt very cringe to me, very weird to me. I do know some people like it, I just don't understand that, but it is what it is. Just way too many screens, okay? Just calm down with the screens. Claim number 4, there are very noticeable technical problems with the game, bugs and performance problems. First thing, the interaction with the certain items or things can be very buggy, and it's going to require a few times that you interact with the button until like the action happens. It might be like internet connection problem, because you do have to be connected to the internet constantly for this game, and my internet pretty much like sucks. So I had a lot of problem with the connectivity, a lot of times when I had to like close the game and restart it again, even though on my other screen I was watching something else and I was using internet on my other screen, no problem, but the game decided that I don't have good internet, so it kind of booted me off and kicked me off multiple times from a single player game. Fun, I know. Performance, when I was fast traveling somewhere, when I just started the game, when I just went fast somewhere, right? Then the performance would go to shit. FPS would be almost 0 for, I don't know, 10 seconds, and then it would be back to being fine. Now, they do tell you at the start that shaders and blah, 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 blah. But even if you sit and you wait for the shaders, there's still going to be, every time I launched the game, there was like, after playing for a bit, there was a time where the whole game would freeze for like 10 seconds, nothing moves for like 10 seconds. Then once the 10 seconds passed, everything was fine, no FPS problems, no nothing. I don't know what triggered it. Didn't happen in any other game I played recently where the entire game froze for 10 seconds. Just happens. Wasn't really like a big deal. It didn't destroy like my fun of the game. It's not like if the game was fun but we had this problem, then I would say the game sucks still. No, there were problems, but they didn't really like kill my fun. The only thing that kind of killed my fun was the corrupted sound. There was an surprising insane amount of corrupted sound in this game, where mostly for like background sound or NPC sounds, not conversational sound. I mentioned previously like NPCs like talking to one another, and there's like mini stories around the world. Those conversations, when they were voiced, they had the tendency that the voice would like, it sounded like it come from walkie-talkie, like it sounded like the I don't know, the connection was bad or something. Again, might be the internet again, but the sound sounded terrible. Like I had to take my headphones off a few times. And then one final thing, I think it's a translation problem. Because I understand some Japanese, then there were moments where they said something that doesn't match like the subtitles of what they said. Like something happened on screen. I don't know, I'm just giving an example. It's not what happened. He held the white bottle, right? He said white bottle in Japanese, but then the subtitle said like red bottle or something like that. Again, not world destroying, but it's something that as you get more and more and more of these as you play the game, it starts to like chisel down your like love for the game. Claim number 5, the side content and the completionist side of the game is very mixed. It's satisfying to do those things, but it have a tendency to be very, very repetitive. So like I was saying, the side missions have the tendency also to switch genre. So some of this, I don't know why, but so many of those side missions have a tendency to go into horror modes. There was one where you play like a whipping angel style of anomaly, where you have to look at the monster. If you don't look at it, then it can move and hurt you, and if it touches you, go back to the spawn point and you restart the whole thing again. Very boring, trial and error. You have to go read a bunch of notes, open a bunch of doors. I did it, but it's still freaking boring. Wasn't enjoyable whatsoever. Now, after I did that, progressed the game a little more, there was another mission where I had to go into like a hospital horror thing, where the game turns into first-person horror, Outlast style, with like lockers you have to hide in, and things you have to open, and doors and lights. I just don't understand what this like fascination with horror, like it's not even scary, it's just boring as frick. Like you just spend your time doing something that's not enjoyable and you move on to get this V on this completion, the check on this, like I did it. There was a nice mission where you have to go like unlock snow in the game. Basically you talk like to an ice cream anomaly, a snow anomaly, and you do a bunch of like cold air collection, I guess you would say, where you go and you do a bunch of things repeatedly in order to collect more and more cold air until the anomaly is able to create snow inside the city. It's cool. It's a cool way to unlock snow. Just these small like repeated things. We have to drive into like 5 different places again and again in order to collect cold air. I just didn't enjoy it as much. This is likely a game that I would never play again, simply because it's not as enjoyable as it could be. The bad overlooks the good, or overpowers, I guess, the good parts. And I'm gonna stick around for a few days to clear all the side stuff and all the things on the map that I still have left, all the mini quests and things like that, because it is fun to complete all the stuff. But again, it's not worth it, like sticking around for longer. I just don't find the appeal. Now overall, like I said at the start, this is a mid-anime and a mobile game having a child together, and you call this Neverness to Everness. That's the game. There is nothing too special in here. I don't see the relation to like GTA anime or something like that, because you drive around. That's like the only thing I see. Like you drive and you can buy some houses. Basically, I see it more like an anime, like I said, than a mobile game rather than a more in-depth game. But yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just me being over like regular animes. I just can't take it anymore. Maybe I'm delusional. Could be. I don't know. Would love to hear what you have to say about this, if you think the same or if you don't. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, let me know how I can improve. I keep safe and see you next one. Bye bye.